the heart of New Orleans, a city known for its vibrant culture and music, a shadow of terror loomed in 1918 and 1919. A mysterious figure known only as the Axeman emerged from the darkness, committing a series of brutal murders that left the city gripped in fear. This wasn't just a criminal spree, it was a reign of terror that involved cryptic letters, bizarre motives, and a trail of unsolved murders. Today we'll dive deep into the chilling case of the Axeman of New Orleans, a story that blends mystery, horror, and a tinge of the supernatural. The Axeman's spree began on the night of May 23, 1918, when Joseph and Catherine Maggio, a local grocer couple, were found murdered in their home. Joseph's throat had been slashed with a razor, and Catherine had been bludgeoned with an axe, both of which were left at the scene. The killer had entered their home by chiseling a panel out of the back door, a method that would become his signature. Despite the brutality of the attack, no valuables were taken, leaving police baffled about the motive. Over the following months, more attacks followed in a similar fashion. Victims were often Italian-American grocers, sparking fears of a racially motivated killer or a vendetta tied to the mafia. However, authorities couldn't find any concrete evidence to support these theories. Panic spread as families fortified their homes, and the Axeman's shadow loomed over New Orleans. In March 1919, the Axeman escalated his reign of terror by sending a letter to a local newspaper claiming responsibility for the murders. The letter, titled "From Hell," was written in a sinister and mocking tone, declaring that he was a demon from the hottest hell. The most chilling part of the letter was the Axeman's bizarre demand. He stated that he would spare anyone playing jazz music in their homes on a specific night. This twisted request added a macabre twist to an already horrifying case. On the fateful night of March 19, 1919, the city of New Orleans was alive with jazz. Homes, bars, and clubs echoed with the music as residents heeded the Axeman's demand in hopes of escaping his wrath. True to his word, no murders were reported that night. However, the eerie silence from the Axeman didn't last long. His terror resumed, leaving investigators and citizens alike scrambling for answers. Authorities struggled to create a clear profile of the Axeman. His methodical approach to entering homes suggested planning, yet the brutal and frenzied nature of the attacks hinted at a deep-seated rage. Witnesses who survived described a tall figure dressed in dark clothing, but no consistent details emerged. Despite numerous theories, from the Axeman being a deranged butcher to a mob enforcer, his true identity remained a mystery. Among the Axeman's victims were several who miraculously survived his attacks, providing rare glimpses into his methods. Anna Schneider, attacked in August 1918 while 8 months pregnant, was struck repeatedly but lived to tell the tale. Another survivor, Harriet Lowe, accused her partner of being the Axeman before succumbing to her injuries. These survivors' accounts painted a haunting picture of a relentless assailant who attacked without mercy. Over time, theories about the Axeman's identity abounded. Some believed he was a deranged local with a grudge against Italian Americans, while others speculated he was a drifter who moved through cities committing similar crimes. Still, others posited that the Axeman was a manifestation of New Orleans' dark history, blending folklore and reality into a terrifying legend. Despite countless leads, none were definitive. By the end of 1919, the Axeman's reign abruptly ended, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Some believed he had been arrested for an unrelated crime, while others thought he had died or moved on to another city. His identity and motives remain unsolved, turning the Axeman into one of America's most enduring mysteries. And that's just the beginning of this terrifying tale. If you've been intrigued by the mystery of the Axeman of New Orleans, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to Crime Chronicles, and turn on notifications so you won't miss part 2 of this story, where we'll delve deeper into the theories, suspects, and the cultural impact of this chilling case. Let us know in the comments your theory about the Axeman's identity. Was he a mobster, a madman, or something even more sinister? As 1920 approached, the Axeman seemed to vanish without a trace. With no arrests, confessions, or confirmed sightings, the authorities were left empty-handed. For the people of New Orleans, the scars ran deep. Many families had moved or altered their lives out of fear of the night-stalking killer. The case remained open, but the police gradually shifted focus to other crimes, unable to solve the enigma of the Axeman. One prominent theory about the Axeman's motives suggested he targeted Italian-American grocers specifically. At the time, Italian immigrants were often victims of racial prejudice and stereotyping, which fueled speculation of a hate crime. Some even suggested that the attacks were part of a vendetta or tied to mafia activities. However, this theory conflicted with the lack of robbery or clear financial gain, leaving investigators puzzled about the true reason behind the Axeman's choice of victims. The Axeman's infamous letter not only brought terror, but also left a cultural impact. His demand for jazz music to appease him elevated the genre as a symbol of survival during his reign. Jazz musicians, inspired by this macabre episode, immortalized the Axeman in songs like The Mysterious Axeman's Jazz, Don't Scare Me Papa, turning a moment of fear into a bizarre piece of cultural folklore. Even today, the story of the Axeman is intertwined with New Orleans' rich musical history. Decades later, forensic historians and criminologists have revisited the case, hoping to uncover new leads using modern investigative techniques. Some have pointed out similarities between the Axeman and other killers of the time, suggesting he could have been a serial killer who traveled between cities. Others theorize he may have been someone well known in the community, which allowed him to avoid suspicion. Still, despite renewed interest, the case remains as baffling today as it was over a century ago. One unnerving consequence of the Axeman's crimes was the potential for copycat killers. Throughout the 20th century, similar murders cropped up in other cities, with burglars and murderers adopting the Axeman's MO of chiseling through doors and using an axe as a weapon. Though none were definitively linked to the original Axeman, the spread of his legend influenced criminal behavior in chilling ways. Another theory suggests that the Axeman wasn't a single individual, but rather a group of criminals working together. Proponents of this idea argue that multiple people could explain the varying descriptions of the attacker given by survivors and witnesses. The group might have shared a common goal, whether it was rooted in revenge, ritual, or sheer malice. However, the lack of solid evidence to support this theory keeps it in the realm of speculation. The Axeman's story isn't just a tale of crime, it's a reflection of how fear can paralyze a community. New Orleans in 1918 to 1919 was a city already grappling with the effects of World War I and a deadly flu pandemic. The Axeman's murders added another layer of anxiety, driving people to lock their doors and distrust their neighbors. The psychological impact of his crimes has been studied as a case of societal trauma, where the unknown became a source of collective dread. Experts in criminal psychology have weighed in on the Axeman's case, suggesting he may have been a psychopathic thrill killer. His lack of a clear financial or personal motive, combined with the brutality of his attacks, aligns with profiles of individuals who kill for the sheer experience of power and control. Some believe his sporadic timeline suggests a killer who acted impulsively, striking when the urge became unbearable. The Axeman's legend has endured, becoming a recurring figure in books, documentaries, and even television. For instance, he was featured as a character in the hit series American Horror Story, Coven, where his story was fictionalized but retained its chilling core. The fascination with the Axeman stems not just from his crimes, but from the eerie mystery surrounding his identity and motives. Even now, his story captivates true crime enthusiasts and historians alike. The Axeman of New Orleans remains one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries, a tale of horror, music, and unanswered questions. Who was the Axeman? What drove him to commit such heinous crimes? Could his identity still be uncovered with today's technology? Or will he forever remain a specter in the annals of crime history? If you enjoyed exploring this chilling case, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with fellow mystery enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe to Crime Chronicles and hit the bell icon so you can uncover more dark and mysterious stories with us. Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments. Let's see if together we can unravel the truth behind the Axeman of New Orleans.